Hare Krishna YouTubers. So here's probably the last lesson, FYI lesson, just a few pointers on the Mridanga. So when we play the Mridanga, it's always good to offer our respects, not just to the Mridanga, but to, other spiritual personalities as a sign of respect and appreciation and gratitude. And one particular pranam, prayerful mantra that I'm aware is from Govinda Prabhu. Although I did have a CD, I let one of my Mridanga students have it. So from what I remember, the Mridanga pranam from Govinda Prabhu that I learned was Mridanga Brahma Rupaya Lavanam Rasa Madhuri Sahasra Guna Samyuktam Mridangaya Namo Namaha. And the rough translation for it, I'll post the exact translation on the video once I get it, is that the Mridanga, I offer my respectful obeisances to the Mridanga drum, which possesses a spiritual form. It is very attractive and contains thousands of transcendental qualities. That's a rough translation of the pranam mantra. So a few other pointers that'll be helpful in having information about the Mridanga is that if you're a righty, if your strongest hand is the right, generally speaking, you will play the small side, the dying side of the Mridanga with your right hand because it requires more intricacies. And if you're a lefty, you will play the dying side, the small side, with your left hand. And similarly, a proper way of wearing the Mridanga if you're standing in kirtan is that if you're righty, first of all, that you will first of all put the Mridanga straps around your neck. Then you would take your left hand and put it inside the strap if you're a righty, and then if the right strap will be over your shoulder, so like that. And if you're a lefty, I'll switch around. Your right hand will be over the strap of the Mridanga, and the left strap will be over your shoulder, like that. So that's the proper way, and it's most comfortable. The dying side should be angled up, not angled down or any other way if you're a lefty, and same if you're a righty on the side. So those are a few pointers that are very significant in playing Mridanga. Also, it's always important in any endeavor, of course, to always be humble, because especially in regards to the Mridanga, you could be the most really talented Mridanga player, but if you don't have a quality sounding Mridanga, the best Mridanga player could sound very average and not that good. So, that's probably a way Krishna keeps us humble anyway. So the best type of Mridangas are unfortunately, you have to get them in India. That's definitely, as I've heard many times, people say that the best Mridangas are in India. You have to go to India and buy them. And if you order online, you may not get the best Mridanga, but sometimes people luck out and get a very decent Mridanga. Now the Mridanga that I've been recording my videos with, although it's a clay Mridanga, first of all, the clay Mridangas, if you buy any Mridanga, the best Mridangas to get are clay Mridangas. Now the Mridanga I've been recording with, I would probably rate it probably like a B minus or C in terms of quality and sound, even on a good day. So that's because when you have a really good Mridanga, the small side is effortless to play on the dying side. Sometimes if the quality isn't that great, you have to put more effort into playing the Mridanga. But if it's great, you should always buy a Mridanga where you have to put less effort in it and you could get a crisp sound out of it. Now, the weather, of course, always affects the Mridanga, but generally if it's a good quality Mridanga, this side will never be affected. So when I'm recording my Mridangas, as you can hear, the tone of this sound is sometimes affected, sometimes it's more higher pitch and sometimes a lower pitch. you always want to have a higher pitch sound on the dying side. You never want to get a low pitch. That's why if you buy any other mridanga than the clay, then chances are, you know, you won't get a good quality sound. So that's why mridanga comes from a prefix mrit, which means clay, and anga, which means body. So mridangas, the original mridangas are clay bodies. So the best type of mridangas are clay. That isn't to say that I don't appreciate the mridanga that I've been recording with. It's always important to have a sense of gratitude at whatever you get. So that's one important aspect. But just for FYI, to let you inform you about the qualities of mridangas. Now for this side, as you can see, when I first started recording my mridanga videos, I started in the winter, and as you could hear the different qualities of sounds that in the winter around maybe December, the big side of mridanga is very high pitched. It doesn't have a very deep sound. Ideally, the mridanga is supposed to have a very deep, sweet sound, or very deep. So, as you can see, when I first started recording my mridanga videos, this side was high pitched. Now there is a way to help make this side deeper in the winter or in any particular weather when it's high pitched. Now, what you would do is you would take a rag or a paper towel and wet the end of it, and you would have it lifted up vertical. I'm showing it horizontal now so you can see it, but ideally you have it vertical. And what you would do is you would place water on the maidan. This is the maidan on the big side, right next to the siyahi. But never get water on the siyahi, otherwise this part will peel and you'll ruin the mridanga. So put water on the maidan. I'm putting it on an angle, but you will put a good amount of water on, and then you will rub it around so it won't drip and stuff, and then you will let it sit vertically and just kind of play a gauge to see whether it's getting deeper or not, and put as much water accordingly until it gets to the deepness that you like. But always when you put the water on, always rub it around and try to avoid getting on the siyahi as much as possible. So carry some dry paper towel so you can wipe any water that accidentally drips on the siyahi, because you always want to keep this side smooth as possible, otherwise it'll chip and break off. Now the best type of mridangas that for the big side, never get a mridanga that has a brown siyahi. Always try to go for the ones with the black, because the brown ones chip more often regardless of whether you get water on them or not, and then it becomes like sandpaper, and you can ruin the mridanga. So now if the mridanga is too deep, if it's way too deep and won't make a sound, a good method is to place it over some type of heat, preferably fire, which is more faster, or maybe next to a heater. Place it over a fire for maybe, don't touch it, and make sure the straps don't get burned, but place it a little bit above a fire, maybe for a few seconds, 15 to 30, or whenever it gets to the right, so accordingly to how you like it. So if it's way too deep, this one is high pitch, it's not deep enough, so the mridanga now, but if it gets way too deep, it'll be so flat that you have to put it over a fire for a few seconds. So that's also a good point to remember. And lastly, but not least, is that it's always important to, as I said before, be grateful for any mridanga you get, and especially for the clay mridangas. Always try to take care of them as best as possible, and if you don't want your mridanga to get broken, you know, maybe you shouldn't let others play it if you're too if it's a good quality mridanga. If it's like the best quality mridanga, you probably shouldn't let others play it, because you obviously be mad if they break it. Because a clay mridanga, if you chip it, or even chip it a little on a door or something, and you could hear the sound in it like it's a bead in the mridanga, that's a good way to see if it's chipped. Like roll your mridanga, side to side. So if you hear a sound on mridanga, and if a clay mridanga gets chipped even a little, it's finished. Especially, yeah, it's finished. Especially if you hit this side on any edge or a hard surface, it's finished. So it's always important